Okay, so this is my mid-2010 MacBook, and I've had this since 2014. I only paid £266 for this, and it served me really well as a computer. And I figured I'd do an update because it's coming up to 10 years old. It's pretty much 10 years old now. And just to show you how quickly and things it scrolls, so that's my YouTube channel open. Let's open another tab and let's go to Hot UK Deals and show you how quickly it scrolls up and down. The trackpad was one of the reasons I bought a Mac all those years ago. It just makes it much more pleasurable to use. So if I go for BBC, I will switch to screen capture later, but I'll do that on the Windows bit of this video because for some reason macOS isn't outputting a video output. I don't have an official adapter, but yeah, strangely it's not working. So if I wanted to zoom in and zoom out, you can see it's very fluid with the touchpad, super quick to switch between things. If I do 4 fingers and swipe, I can go back and forth between various different apps and things. So say for instance I opened up Raspberry Pi Imager. If I was going to write something to an SD card for my Raspberry Pi, I can go back and forward nice and quickly between them, and I really like that motion. If I scrunch, I get all the apps, and if I open scrunch, then I get all the apps disappear. I mostly use the Safari browser because that works really well on this. It's really good with files. It's incredibly stable. The Wi-Fi works really well. As a computer, it is just a joy to use. And I also use it a lot for screen capture. So the screen capture on a Mac, you just open up QuickTime, you hit done. You go to File, New Screen Recording, and then hit Record. Tap anywhere on the screen, and that's now recording. You don't have to buy any other software, you don't have to install anything, you don't have to mess about. And then if I go to an app and I can move up and down, you'll see in a minute that the scrolling isn't super smooth on the screen capture, and that's just because it is an old device. So if I stop that now, you can see that it goes to the app. It goes to the recording, so I can then call that test, for instance, and hit save. And then that comes down here. If I tap on it and then press the space bar, it shows me the video. So you can see that's the video of the screen capture that I've just recorded. So super easy for doing my videos because I do a lot of YouTube and Raspberry Pi videos and things like that. And a lot of the reason I use a Mac over Windows is just the screen capturing, so straightforward. But it's just also, it's nice and fast, and it works really well for me. The disappointing side of a Mac would definitely be gaming. Gaming is really pretty woeful on a Mac. But I have a solution for that, and this one is dual booting. And if you go back through my videos on Mac, I've had Chromium, Raspbian, Windows 8, Windows 8.1. I did have Windows 7 for a little bit. You have to get, so this uses a system called bootcamp, which allows you to, and if I just shut it down now, it allows you to boot Windows in Mac. And what it does is, because this is such an old Mac, it doesn't have the drivers for Windows 10, but it automatically kind of sorts itself out. As long as you start off with Windows 7, upgrade it to Windows 8, upgrade it to Windows 8.1, and then upgrade it to Windows 10, which sounds like a bit of an ordeal, but I like doing that sort of thing, so it didn't bother me anyway. And I've been running Windows 10 on this for really quite some time, and it's been running absolutely fine. The only thing I do use is a mouse. And that's because the trackpad doesn't really work properly. Well, it works, but it doesn't give you all the multi-touch gestures. And if I'm going to use a trackpad, that's what I want to use. So if I go into Windows and hit enter, and while it's starting up, if I show you that, see, the trackpad is quite a decent sized trackpad. And it's a glass trackpad. The mid-2010 was the first one that had a glass trackpad, and so before that they weren't as responsive or as nice to use, but now they are super nice to use. So it's just booting up Windows. Okay, so I've now switched over to screen capturing, so it just looks a bit better for the video, and you can see that this is running Windows 10, so I can call it up and I can do, for instance, if I wanted to do system, just to show you a little bit about it. System information. There you go. So this is a Core 2 Duo P8600 2.4 gigahertz, and it'll probably say 8 gig of RAM there somewhere, and it's got an NVIDIA GeForce M320 integrated graphics, so really basic. Now these computers, when they were new in 2010, were, I think they were £900. I wasn't really aware of them. I used to work in an electronics store called Comet, which closed down in 2012, and that was when I first saw well, the MacBook with the trackpad, and how I really sort of started to like the way that they web browsed and worked. But I didn't really know a lot about them because I'd always had Windows. So the reason I use Windows 10 on this Mac, various different reasons. So sometimes there's a program to do with emulation and things like that that you just can't get on a Mac, or I've found a tutorial of how to do something and there isn't a version for the Mac, and so I'll switch over to Windows and I'll use that as a system. You can see it runs pretty slick. If I go to folders, you can see that everything launches pretty quickly. The web browser works fine. I don't know if it's going to be as snappy as it normally would be, only because I'm mirroring this to another monitor and screen capturing, but let's see if, so BBC, again, a 10-year-old device. I still think it's amazing, and if you look at some of my other Mac videos, you can see that I've taken it apart to have a look inside. It's so tidy inside. The fans aren't going at the moment. They will as soon as I start gaming. They'll get going. So I'm using the scroll wheel on the mouse now, but you can see that all of that is loading up really nicely. You can see I've got things like Minecraft on here. I've used the Xbox mirroring function, so you can play your Xbox One on your laptop screen, and that obviously works with Windows, doesn't work with Mac. So there's various reasons that you would have Windows on a Mac, but you have to jump through a few hoops to get there. So if I go back into Steam, let's try a few games. I've got a wired Xbox 360 controller, which I'm using at the moment. So if I click on play, single player, you can see the menus are lovely and snappy. Okay, so I think the graphics still look pretty decent on this. This isn't a full 1080 screen, it's 1280 by 768, I think the resolution of this is. But it still looks pretty decent. You can see all the effects and everything. The fact that things get dismantled and destroyed as you go around, all the car models and everything remember what's happened on each lap. So boost is, I haven't got enough to boost yet, but if I smash other cars and go past and stuff, I get things that I can boost with. So let's see if I can boost and slide a bit around there. That should build up my boost. Oh, not if I do that though. You can see my car's getting proper wrecked. And little bits. See the car next to me pushing all the fences and everything around. Boulders are no trouble. Oh, and then the boost. You can press and hold the boost, and you go for a longer time, but you only get a certain amount of boost. Oh, that's good. That would have helped my boost, I think. I can't remember which bits increase the boost, but oh, out of shape. Anyway, so that's flat out 2. As you can see, I think it runs pretty well. I'm really impressed at how well it runs on this old Mac. So let's quit out of that. So this is a modded GTA 3 from back in the day, and I used to have this on a USB stick and just copy it onto the desktop of a computer, and it would just load up. You could just copy the contents of the USB stick, the folder, over to the desktop and just load it up. And so we used to try out, at the time I used to work in a Sony centre, and we used to try out all the laptops with it. And in the early days they weren't very good, but then as time went on they got much better. So let's switch controls. I'm using the keyboard for this. You can set it up with the controller fine, but I wanted to show you one of the mods that's in this. Yeah, this is the mod. So have a look at how this car moves. So if I stop there and jump in that one, you'll see that it's got massive tyres and the handling is affected by it as well. So, a normal size car. There you go, straight over the top. You can normally ride straight over them. There you go. and I used to have loads. I can't find the one where I had everything modded, so literally every car was different, and there was BMWs and all sorts of things. But there are some Volkswagen Beetles around here somewhere. And I also used to have a stunt track where it had like quarter pipes and huge ramps, which was also a mod. I used to just install loads of mod packs, but in the end it used to end up making the game incredibly slow. And I don't think you can get into police cars unless a policeman's got out of them. I think they lock them. Yeah. Another monster truck. You can, with the right car, you can drive right under them. But it needs to be probably one of the sports cars. There's one parked in there, look. And there's various different colours and variations of these. So we have a mod for a Volkswagen Beetle. Not the best by today's standards, but a bit bad now. There you go, so that's GTA 3. Working fine, as it should, because it's a very old game, but still a great game to play, even Planes in the Sky lap. So let's quit out of that. A little bit of Vice City from Steam. Vice City was an absolute classic, and I especially liked it because motorbikes first came out in this one. So really nice, clear looking graphics for the time. Let's jump in my car, go for a little drive just to show the slightly different. Oh, I thought that was my car. All right, there's a motorbike. Seems to run a lot faster. Mind you, that GTA was so modded that you don't expect the best from it. Oh, there's a faster car. Look. Excuse me. And it's unfortunate I have to turn the music off because obviously the music was a great part of this game. But as you can see, GTA plays really well on this. So I won't show you all GTA games, let's just quit out of that. Motor Racer 3 is an excellent game, and I think I covered it in my Windows 8 or 8.1, but especially the trials element to it. There isn't another game I know of that does the trials in the same sort of way as this, and I'd really like a trials game. So if you know of one on any platform, let me know and I'll investigate it. But this just runs really well. I mean, I think it looks good still. Yeah, it's a bit blocky, but and the collision detection isn't brilliant, but the actual gameplay of it. So you can move to the side of your bike to be able to see what's going on. And if I accelerate up here and then go across and brake, you can see you've got to be a bit more cautious, but there's some really tricky bits to kind of negotiate. That went quite well. Oh, brakes. Oh, no. Trouble is my buttons are the wrong way around. Button excuse again. My buttons are the wrong way around, and I would rather put it on shoulder buttons, but I couldn't find a way of configuring. So like now I can go forward a bit, and then I can go back and forward on the controller, and you can see that it hopped you up. I like this bit tricky. To negotiate around, and then hop round to get a bit of a better angle, and across. There you go, so that's Motor Racer 3. There are loads of emulators that you can also use on this as well, which work really well, surprising the age of the machine, but emulators obviously are from older systems again, so tend to work well. But yeah, so that's the Windows portion of my mid-2010 MacBook. Okay, so back on macOS, I'm using the mouse because I'm sat a bit further away than normal, but you can see I've got 4 things up and running. I've got my NAS drive here, I've got Raspberry Pi Imager. On the right hand screen I've got Safari, and I've got iTunes here as well. Now with iTunes, it still works with my HomePods, even though it's a seriously old computer, so it's connected to my HomePods at the moment. So if I was to press play, you can see that it plays my HomePods. I won't play it too long because it's early and everybody's in bed. So if I do full screen Safari, I'm using the mouse wheel now, but it still works nice and fast. If I go to YouTube, it does need to be 720. You can't do 1080 YouTube, but the screen on it is only 720 anyway, so that doesn't really matter. So let's do a search. Skip ads and change the rate. Oh, it's on 720 already. So, and then while it's playing that video, I can switch over to this screen and I can do something else on here as well. I could maybe launch Chrome browser. Let's see if that makes it stutter. No, it's still playing smoothly, look. And do a search on there for BBC. I don't use it as this setup. My son uses his as a dual monitor setup on his Windows computer, but I can see the benefits if I had a desk setup that I would use at the same time, and this is more than up to it. Okay, so I also wanted to say that when I bought this, it had 2 gig of RAM. On the 17th of November, I bought another 8 gig, which was $79.99 from eBay, and that changed it massively. But it was the SSD that changed it and basically has made it absolutely usable even up until today. I did stop video editing on it only because it got to the point where when it was saving some of my videos, it just took quite a while to save them, and also I wanted to do multiple videos and it struggles to do more than 2 1080s videos on screen at the same time. But if your needs are modest, I would recommend it still. It's a great computer, but only with the 2 upgrades, only with the SSD and only with the 8 gig of RAM. Anyway, hope you like this. Thanks very much for watching. Please like and subscribe.
3, 2, 1, go! Checkpoint! 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 3, 2, 1, go! Checkpoint! 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 Checkpoint!